Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. Today's lecture is about SNP block element and its lecture. In this we will learn about the group 4 elements. This group is also called the carbon family, as the members of this carbon family include carbon, silicon, germanium, tin and lead. Physical properties of the elements, and first one physical property is the melting and boiling point. And how these melting and boiling points change within this group. As we move down the group from carbon to lead, melting as well as the boiling point generally decreases. You can see here melting and boiling points are given, and these are gradually decreasing down the group. And why these gradually decrease down the group? As we move down the group, the size of the atom is increasing, and when the size of the atom increases, the distance between the nucleus and valence electron decreases, and as a result interatomic forces they also decreases. And due to decrease in these interatomic forces, melting and boiling point of the elements decreasing down the group. You can see here the carbon and silicon, they have fairly high melting and boiling point as compared to the other member of this group. And what is the reason for this? This carbon and silicon, they form the joint covalent molecule, as carbon has the ability of catenation, and silicon also forms a giant molecule. That is the reason their melting and boiling points are greater than the other members of its family. And we can see here this tin has the low melting point as compared to the lead. Melting point of lead is greater as compared to the tin. What is the reason behind this? These elements, they have the empty d orbital in them, and due to the presence of these empty d orbitals, these elements have the ability to form the 12 coordinated structures. But in case of the tin, this 12 coordinated structure is distorted, but the lead, it has the proper 12 coordinated structure. That is the reason this tin has less melting point as compared to the lead. The trends about the metallic and non-metallic characters, the first two members of the group, that is the carbon and silicon, they are purely non-metals. While the third element, germanium, it is a metalloid. Metalloid mean it shows the behavior of both metal as well as non-metals. You can say it behaves just like a semi-metal. In some properties it will show the metallic character, in some properties it will show the non-metallic character. And the last two members, that is the tin and lead, they are purely metals. And this change from the non-metallic to the metallic character with the increase in the atomic number is due to the decrease in the effective nuclear charge. As we are moving down the group, the nuclear charge is decreasing because size of the atom is increasing. Distance between the nucleus and valence electron decreasing. That is the result. The force of attraction is decreasing between the nucleus and valence electron, and their electropositivity increasing down the group. So we can say that metallic character is increasing down the group. Now about the oxidation state of the group 4 elements, they exist in two oxidation state. First is the +2 and second is the +4. Carbon and silicon, they exist in the +4 oxidation state. We can say that +4 oxidation state is preferred oxidation state for this carbon and silicon, and +2 oxidation is quite rare for this. And if these two elements exist in the +2 oxidation state, they readily oxidize to the +4 oxidation state. And this increase in the stability of the lower oxidation state as compared to the higher oxidation state on moving down the group from carbon to lead is due to the inert pair effect. First two members, they show the plus 4 oxidation state as the preferred oxidation state, but as we move down the group, germanium, tin and lead, plus 2 oxidation state becomes preferred. And what is the reason to prefer the plus 2 oxidation state? It is due to the inert pair effect. And what is this inert pair effect? The valence configuration of this group is NS2NP2. NS2NP2, when this element lose the P2 electrons, then it show the plus 2 oxidation state. With the release of these 2 electrons, their oxidation state will be plus 2, but these NS2 electrons, they remain intact. So s orbital is completely filled and this do not take part in the bond formation, and due to this, these S2 electrons, they are called the inert pair electrons, and this effect is called the inert pair effect. And the group in the group, stability of the plus 2 oxidation state increasing down the group from the germanium to lead, positive 2 oxidation state increases. So plus 2 elements show the preferred plus 4 oxidation state, and next elements show the plus 2 oxidation state as the preferred oxidation state. Now how they show the oxidizing and reducing properties? When all the 4 electrons, that is the NS2 and P2, all the 4 valence electrons, they are lost, then M plus 4 cation is formed. In this case, the cation has the plus 4 oxidation state, and on descending down the group, stability of the plus 4 oxidation state decreases. Plus 4 oxidation state will not be preferred oxidation state when we will move down the group. So the stability of M plus 4 cations decreases down the group and plus 2 cations will increases. As in the graph you can see that plus 4 oxidation state cations are less stable as compared to the plus 2 cations. So stability of the plus 4 cation will decreases down the group, and stability of the plus 2 cations will increasing down the group. Now it was about the cations. Now how they exist in the form of the compounds? When compounds of germanium plus 2 oxidation state, these compounds are less stable as compared to the germanium plus 4 oxidation state. If we consider in the form of the cations, so we can see that plus 4 oxidation state, it is not preferred, it is decreasing down the group. But when these elements are in the form of the compounds, in case of the compounds, plus 2 oxidation state compounds are less stable as compared to the compounds in which it has the plus 4 oxidation state. So we can say that the compounds of the germanium plus 2 oxidation state are readily oxidized to the germanium plus 4 oxidation state. And as they readily oxidized from plus 2 to the plus 4 oxidation state, we can say that these germanium plus 2 compounds, they act as the strong reducing agent. Plus 2 oxidation state compounds, they act as the strong reducing agent. So germanium plus 4 oxidation state compounds, they will act as the oxidizing agent. Here you can see the difference. In the case of the cations, plus 2 oxidation state is stable, but in case of the compounds, in the form of the compounds, plus 2 oxidation state compound, they will be less stable. So germanium, in which it has the plus 2 oxidation state compounds, they are less stable and they act as the reducing agent. They readily change into the plus 4 oxidation compounds, and they are more stable and they act as the oxidizing agent. In the same way, stannic show its behavior, tin it show its behavior in the same way as the germanium. In case of the tin plus 2 oxidation compounds, they are less stable as compared to the compounds containing the tin plus 4 oxidation state. So we can say that when tin compounds are in the plus 2 oxidation state, they are strong reducing agent, and when compounds having the plus 4 oxidation state, they will act as the oxidizing agent. So plus 2 compounds, as tin plus 2 oxidation state compounds, they are less stable, act as the reducing agent, and tin plus 4 oxidation compounds, they are more stable and they behave as the oxidizing agent. But now when we come to the lead, here the behavior become changed. Stability of the compounds of lead plus 2 oxidation state and the plus 4 oxidation state, they will show different behavior. Plus 2 oxidation state compounds of the lead, they are more stable, and plus 4 oxidation state lead compounds, they are less stable. Here we can see that in case of the germanium and tin, plus 2 oxidation state compounds, they are less stable, but here compounds of the lead having the plus 4 oxidation state, they are less stable, and the compound of the lead having the plus 2 oxidation state, they are more stable. So if they exist in the form of the plus 4 oxidation state, they readily oxidize to the they readily reduce to the plus 2 oxidation state. So we can say that the compounds of the lead having plus 4 oxidation state, they are less stable and behave as the oxidizing agent, and lead plus 2 compounds, they are more stable and they behave as the strong reducing agent. So the stability of the M plus 2 cations and M4 cations from the germanium, tin and lead are in the way that germanium and tin plus 2 oxidation state compounds, they are less stable as compared to the plus 4 oxidation state compounds, while in case of the lead compounds in which lead have the plus 2 oxidation state, they are more stable as compared to the lead plus 4 oxidation state compounds. Now what about the nature of the M plus 2 and plus 4 compounds? It is explained by the Fajon's rule, and according to this Fajon rule, smaller cations with high charge density makes the bond more covalent. When cation size is smaller, charge density is greater, this will behave as the covalent, it will show the covalent bonding in it. Just like the members of the 4A group elements, they show both plus 4 and plus 2 oxidation states. So these members can form the covalent as well as the ionic bond, and it depends on the size of the cation. So according to the Fajon's rule, molecule containing the plus 2 ions, as this plus 2 oxidation state, it is the low charge density, they will behave as the ionic in nature. But the compounds in which they show the plus 4 oxidation state, they have the high charge density, their size will become smaller as compared to these M plus 2 cations, so they will show the covalent behavior. As tin plus 4 ions, they are smaller than the tin plus 2 ions, the compounds of the tin plus 4, they will show the covalent nature, and while the compounds of the tin 2 oxidation state, they will show the ionic in nature. And in the same way, when the lead compounds, they have the plus 4 oxidation state, lead has the plus 4 oxidation state, it will show the covalent behavior, and plus 2 oxidation state leads, they will be ionic in nature. So the tendency of the cations to form the ionic compound, it increasing down the group. All the elements we have seen that they show the positive oxidation state, they show the plus 2 or the plus 4 oxidation state, but in addition to these positive oxidation state, these elements, they also show the negative oxidation state, they also form the negative ions. Example is of the carbon. Carbon show the minus 4 as well as the minus 2 ions. And when how these carbon minus 4 and minus 2 ions are formed, when carbon form the bond with the metals, when carbon bind with these metal ions just like the sodium, potassium, then this carbon show the minus 2 oxidation state. You can see here sodium carbide, calcium carbide. In this case, carbon carry the minus 2 charge. It shows the negative oxidation state. Carbon, silicon and lead tetrachlorides, they all have the formula, general formula XCl4, and X is the carbon, silicon or the lead. They form the tetrahalides, and all these tetrahalides, they are covalent molecules with a tetrahedral shape. All of them are liquid at room temperature. Even the lead 4 chloride, it decomposes at the room temperature into the lead 2 chlorides, because lead plus 4 oxidation state is not stable. It shows the plus 2 oxidation state stable. So these lead tetrachloride, it decomposes into the lead 2 chloride and chlorine gas is released. Now about the stability of these chlorides. At the top of the group 4, most stable oxidation state, as I have told you, it show the plus 4 oxidation state, just like the carbon tetrachloride, silicon tetrachloride, they show the plus 4 oxidation state, and they do not decompose into their dichlorides because plus 4 oxidation state is stable for these compounds. And the thermal stability of the chlorides of the group 4 decreasing down the group. And how they react with the water, how they hydrolyze. Hydrolysis of tetrahalides take place in the 2 steps. And what happen in the first step, oxygen atom of the water, which act as an electron pair donor, it attack the central atom. This oxygen atom, they have the lone pair of electron, they attack on the central atom and it form a coordinate covalent bond due to the presence of this lone pair. So 4 water molecules, through their oxygen atom, they will form the coordinate covalent bond with this central atom and they form the unstable intermediate compound. You can clearly see that these water molecules, how they have arranged them, their oxygen atom having the lone pair of electron, they form the coordinate covalent bond with this central atom. And what happened in the second step? In the second step, 4 halogen halides, these molecules are eliminated from this intermediate compound. From this intermediate compound, 4 halogen halides, they will be eliminated. You can see this X atom from this central atom and hydrogen that is attached to this water molecule, they are eliminated in the form of the halogen halide. So these four halogen halides, they are eliminated from this intermediate compound, and remaining are the hydroxy groups. Four hydroxy groups, they will remain with this central atom. Tetrahalides of the carbon, they are not hydrolyzed, while the other um, uh, other tetrahalides of silicon tetrahalides, germanium, tin tetrahalides, they are readily hydrolyzed. And what is the reason that carbon is not hydrolyzed? Carbon is the member of the second period, and it do not possess the d orbitals. It do not have the d orbitals in it. But silicon, germanium, and tin, they have the d orbitals in them. So due to the presence of empty d orbitals, they have the ability to accommodate the lone pair that comes from the water molecule, and they form the unstable intermediate compound. But in case of the carbon, there are no d orbitals. It cannot accommodate the water molecules due to the unavailability of the d orbitals. So the tetrahalides of the carbon, they are not hydrolyzed, while all others, they are having the d orbitals, and due to the presence of these d orbitals, they can accommodate the water molecules through the coordinate covalent bond, and their tetrahalides are readily hydrolyzed. We can mention that empty orbitals, they are always available with any atom, and they can be utilized if sufficient energy is provided for the reaction to occur. In case of the carbon tetrachloride, hydrolyzation will occur when it will be heated with it is treated with a superheated steam, and in this case, this carbon tetrachloride, it will be transformed into the carbonyl chloride. This carbonyl chloride is also called the phosgene gas. But for the reaction to occur, superheated steam is required. At very high temperature, this reaction will be carried on. Hydrolysis of the tetrahalides of lead, it follows the essentially same pattern as discussed, but due to the instability of the tetravalent compounds of the lead, decomposition of this tetrahalide will occur, and it will change into the dichlorides. As +4 oxidation state is +4 oxidation state is not stable for this lead. That is the reason tetrahalide will readily decompose into the +2 oxidation state compounds. So lead chloride is hydrolyzed by the water molecule, and it will change into the lead oxide. Instead of the hydroxy group that will be attached there, this lead tetrachloride, it will change into the lead oxide. Another ability is the complex formation. Carbon do not form the complex compound, as I have told you that it do not have the d orbitals in them, and due to the unavailability of this d orbitals, this carbon do not form the complexes, while all other elements, silicon, germanium, tin, and lead, as they have the d orbitals in them, they form the tetrahalides, and they also form the complex ions, as in case of the silicon hexafluoride, germanium um, hexa hexahalides. These ions are formed due to the availability of the d orbitals in them. Now about the structure of the oxides. First one is the carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is the gas, but silicon dioxide, it is the hard and having the high melting point solid. And other oxides of the group 4, they are also in the solid state. And first one, the ability properties of this carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a triatomic simple covalent molecule. We can see here it consisting of three elements, carbon and two oxygen atoms. So it is the simple triatomic covalent molecule. It has the double bond, as you can see here that two electron pairs, they are shared with each oxygen atom. So it forms the double covalent bond between the carbon and oxygen. And this carbon is sp hybridized while oxygen is sp2 hybridized. This molecule of the carbon dioxide is linear, and as on the both sides it is attached with the same atom, that is the reason it has the zero dipole moment. Solid carbon dioxide has a face centered cubic structure, and bond length between the carbon and oxygen is 115 picometer, and all the three atoms, they have completed their octet. We can see here they have the 8 electrons, they have completed their octet. So this molecule is the stable one. Now in case of the structure of the silicon dioxide, we can see here this silicon form the joint molecular structure. It is attached with the 4 oxygen atoms from the 4 sides. Silicon dioxide's giant covalent structure, and in which each silicon and oxygen atom is linked together and they form the tetrahedral basic unit. And due to this structure, silicon dioxide is non-volatile and hard, while carbon dioxide is the exists in the form of the gas. Now about the differences of the carbon dioxide and silicon dioxide. Silicon atoms, they are much larger in size as compared to the carbon, and thus tend to surround by more oxygen atoms. Silicons form only single bond with the oxygen atom, while carbon, it forms the double bond with oxygen. Carbon dioxide forms a simple molecular structure containing weak van der Waals forces in them, but in case of silicon dioxide, each silicon atom is bonded to 4 oxygen atoms in the tetrahedral structure, and it is forming the joint molecule. And there is a large amount of energy is required to break the network of this silicon and oxygen atoms. And simplest formula that is using for the silicon is the silica, that is the SiO2. And the crystals of silicon dioxide can be considered as one molecule. How they show the acid base behavior with these group 4 elements. Oxides of the elements at the top of the group 4, they are acidic in nature, but the acidity of the oxides, it decreases down the group, and oxides become more basic when we move down the group. So we can say that trend starts from the acidic oxides at the top and amphoteric in the downside of the group. First one oxide is the carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is usually treated as the neutral oxide, but in fact it is not neutral. It is slightly acidic in nature. It do not react with the water, but it react with the hot concentrated solution of sodium hydroxide. And when this carbon monoxide react with this hot concentrated solution of sodium hydroxide, sodium methanoate is formed and shows a slightly acidic character in it. Next is the carbon and silicon dioxides. They both are weakly acidic. And how they react with the water? Silicon dioxide, it do not react with the water because it exists in the form of the network, covalent network of the silicon and oxygen atoms, and large amount of energy is required to break it. So it will not react with the water. While carbon dioxide, it react with the water to a little extent, and it produce the hydrogen ions. We can see here when this carbon dioxide it react with the water producing the hydrogen ions and hydrogen carbonate ions. And how they react with the bases. Carbon dioxide react with sodium hydroxide at the low temperature, and as well as it react with the concentrated sodium hydroxide. When this carbon dioxide react with the concentrated sodium hydroxide, it produces the sodium carbonate and water. But when this carbon dioxide react with the dilute solution of sodium hydroxide, it produces the sodium hydrogen carbonate. So two different products are formed when this carbon dioxide react with the sodium hydroxide depending on the concentration of this sodium hydroxide. Silicon dioxide it also react with the sodium hydroxide, and it react with the hot and concentrated solution of sodium hydroxide, and it forms the sodium silicate. In the same way, this sodium silicon oxide it also react with the calcium oxide, and it produce the calcium silicate. Now the oxides of the germanium, tin and lead. First one are the monoxides. Monoxides of these, they have the general formula XO, and X is considered as the germanium, tin or the lead. And all these oxides, they are amphoteric in nature. Amphoteric mean when they will react with the acid, they will behave as the base, and when these oxides they will react with the base, they will act as the acid. So they have both the properties of the acid as well as bases. That is the reason they are called the amphoteric in nature. First one, we will show the basic nature of these oxides. These oxides react with the acid and they form the salt. When these oxides react with the acid, they form the salt. This shows that they are basic in nature. As this lead oxide, it react with the hydrogen chloride acid, and when it react with the hydrogen chloride, it forms the lead 2 chloride. And this lead 2 chloride, it is the insoluble layer. It is insoluble layer, and it forms, and further reaction is stop here. But when we will use the concentrated hydrogen chloride solution, then this insolubility will disappear, and this lead 2 chloride it will change into the lead tetrachloride. Complex ion will be formed, and this complex ion is soluble in the water. And how they show the acidic nature? All the oxides they also react with the bases, and when they will react with the bases, they forming the salt. In this case, they are behaving as the acid. Now the dioxides of these, they have the general formula XO2, and these dioxides are again amphoteric in nature. They show the both acidic and basic properties. First one is the basic nature of these dioxides. The dioxides react with a concentrated hydrochloric acid. They produce the salt. As they are reacting with the concentrated solution of hydrochloric acid, this shows that they are showing the basic nature. As when HCl4 tetrachlorides, they react with the excess chloride ions, they form the hexachloride. Complex ions are formed. And in case of the lead 4 compounds, the reaction can be done in quite ice cold hydrochloric acid, and it will change into the lead 2 chloride compound. This plus 4 compound, it will be changed into the plus 2 compound, as plus 2 is the stable oxidation state for the chloride, for the lead. And about the acidic nature of these dioxides, the dioxides of these germanium, tin and lead, they react with the hot concentrated sodium hydroxide solution, and when they will react with the sodium hydroxide solution, they form the hexahydrated complex. And again it show, as they are reacting with this alkalis, it shows that they are behaving as the acid. So these oxides are the amphoteric in nature.